Hello, this is Paula Thomas for Thomas & Fees Accountancy Corporation. The golden rule of sales, including dentistry, is all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust. That's the bottom line. So if you want more patients, you have to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. The following program is going to offer you proven ideas, tips, and strategies that you and your staff can use to get more new patients and produce more dentistry from the patients you have. Number 1, make good patient relationships the primary goal of your office. Every team member must be on board and buy into the concept that building a good relationship with patients is the top priority of the office with every patient, every time, and without exception. One grumpy, uncaring, or insensitive individual can do your practice a lot of damage, and I'm sure you've all heard this before. You don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. Create a consistent method within your practice and make sure everyone is on board and agrees to these basic strategies. A. Smile, look patients in the eye, and greet them by name. B. Be enthusiastic about the wonderful practice you have and the incredible services you offer. C. Demonstrate an attitude of gratitude. You're lucky to have patients walk through your door. D. Celebrate new patients as if they are a gift. E. Don't take returning patients for granted. F. When talking to patients, leave your own problems at home. Everybody has stress in their lives, sick kids, car problems, bills to pay. Don't burden your patients with your problems. And G, when you step into that office, be personable and friendly. Remember, nobody wants to deal with a grump. Number 2, cultivate your garden. Most of the time, dentists are concerned about the number of new patients they get each month. And while that's important, the truth is patient retention is where patient profitability is best achieved. According to Dental Marketing Institute, it costs 3 times as much to find new patients as it does to retain the existing ones. So if you want your practice to flourish, then you need to make sure that you retain as many of your existing patients as you can. That doesn't mean that external marketing is a waste of time and shouldn't be done. For your practice to grow, you definitely need to learn how to get new patients through the door. But if you're looking for an immediate area of focus that almost inevitably delivers results, you may not have to look much further than your own garden. Your practice is like a garden with hundreds of beautiful flowers just hidden under the earth, waiting for the water and sun they need to sprout forth and bloom. But some dentists forget that and spend all their energy and money searching for new flowers to buy instead of nurturing the flowers under their feet. It's an old cliché, but it's still accurate. Selling more to your existing patients is much easier than going out and getting new ones. Think about this. An average practice has 1,600 active patients, and some have many more than that. And 70% of those patients need a cleaning appointment, cosmetic work, or occlusal appliance or restorative work. They already know you and trust you. They won't hang up if you give them a call, and there's a good chance they'll respond to a letter, email, or text from your office. So wouldn't it be smart to spend more time cultivating and harvesting these relationships and benefiting from the lifetime value of each patient you have? The fact is, internal patient marketing is the highest impact marketing you'll ever do. So where's the best place to start? Let's begin with hygiene appointments. Hygiene appointments are the lifeline of the practice. Seeing your existing patients twice a year is a great way to build the doctor's schedule because restorative appointments can be created as a result of hygiene. Make semi-annual hygiene appointments your goal for every patient. By focusing on hygiene, you can keep patients from slipping into appointments annually. Devise a strategy that includes pre-scheduling, timely communication, and staff training that keeps hygiene schedules full. A full hygiene schedule will boost your production and make your practice bloom. Another way to tend your patient garden is by keeping in touch. Social media can play a role in this. Remember, dentistry is not at the top of most patients' bucket list. You need to put it there with notes, letters, promotions, etc. Creating and keeping a wow experience in your office is another way to bond patients to the practice and to keep them coming back. Your ability to wow each patient at every interaction is the purest definition of what marketing is. Do you want to deliver value? Then greet every patient with a warm smile, run on time, and thoroughly explain their treatment to them. That's value. Give them online access to their treatment history. Confirm each appointment with a simple text and send them automatic email post-op instructions after every visit. That's value. When you give your patients something special, you're delivering the patient experience that keeps them coming back. Get them to rave about you online and refer their loved ones. Now, let's talk a little bit about timely appointments. Making patients wait without a darn good reason and a sincere explanation and apology is a real turnoff. People are busy. It's disrespectful to waste their time. Let me give you an example. I have a wonderful hairdresser that I really adore, but she was always late. I'm talking 30 or 40 minutes late. Finally, I said, "Laura, you're a great gal and a real pro, but I can't waste time like this." She apologized and came up with a terrific plan to solve the problem. Now she calls me as she's turning down Newport Boulevard, and I hop in the car and meet her at the shop. That solution works. Laura kept a great client, and I don't waste my time. If you're running late, call your patient and let them know. Give them options to reschedule or give them a call when you're ready. Do something. It shows respect and caring. Next, get good at getting your treatment plans accepted. It's about how you sell it. That's why you buy chairside patient education software and intraoral cameras. These technologies, along with how well you do personally, help you visualize the condition and the benefits of treatment to get the patient to say yes. Improving your sales capabilities will always be one of the biggest drivers of profitability for your practice. It's kind of silly to worry about getting only a few likes on Facebook when your office let 5 $1,200 crown cases walk off every week without scheduling. And what's more important, proactively following up with every patient who has an outstanding treatment plan or keeping up a blog. A simple way to bond patients to the practice is by saying thank you. A patient that feels appreciated is someone who will be more willing to remain with you. Send a quick handwritten note or say it in person. "Thanks, Mrs. Patient. I really appreciate you coming into the office today." But whether it's written or verbal, make sure it's from the heart. Also, tell patients what you're doing for them. An informed patient who understands how you are helping them improve their dental health is more likely to appreciate the work you do for them. I remember something my first dentist said to me while I was sitting in the chair. "I know, Paula, that this is taking a lot of time, but I want this molar to be perfect so it will be comfortable and last for years. You deserve the best." Wow, what a statement. That guy remained my dentist until he retired. Number 3, make a big positive impression when patients call. You invest a lot of money, time, and effort getting a new patient to pick up that phone and call your office. And that first call is the beginning of the relationship. So for goodness sake, make sure the person on the phone has a can-do attitude and greets the prospective new patient with a smile in her voice, a positive and helpful attitude, and a voice that can be clearly understood. Think about it. How do you feel about a business when some grumpy, cold, or rushed person answers the phone and treats you like you're an interruption in their day instead of the purpose of their existence? Overload happens, and sometimes you just have to put people on hold. But I'd much rather be told, "Mrs. Thomas, I know how busy you are. I have a patient on the other line that is having a serious problem. Rather than keep you on hold, would you like me to call you back?" That's courteous and responsive and gives me the option to the choice that I prefer. Also, maybe it's my age, but I have no patience if I call a business and the person on the phone has a foreign accent so heavy that I have to keep asking, "What? What did you say?" That phone person is your first contact with a new patient, and he or she had better be amazing. I know it's not easy when the doctor's running behind or there is some other office problem, but a new patient has to be celebrated and handled perfectly each and every time. Number 4, create a patient environment that your patients enjoy. When my grandson goes to the dentist, he watches movies on a TV monitor in the operatory. My daughter, she won't visit a dentist unless they have earphones. She says, "I can't stand the sound of the drill." Now me, I like to listen to the classical music that is played on the overhead speakers and look at images of beautiful flowers that change periodically on the monitor of the intraoral camera. Everybody is different. You know your patients. Create the kind of environment that would make their experience in your office a pleasant one. In Florida, where we live part of the year, every doctor's office has cookies and coffee available in the reception room, and even our banks offer bottles of cold water. The business world is competitive. Everybody is looking for the competitive edge, and people notice those nice little touches, and it makes them feel appreciated. Number 5, get to know your patients. To build a relationship, you need to know more about your patients than just their dental needs. Find out about their family. Do they have grandkids or pets? Is their son going off to college next year? Or are they having a big anniversary or wedding soon? What about their hobbies? Do they own an RV, enjoy gardening, or go cycling? Patients love to talk about the things that they are interested in. It makes them feel more comfortable, and it may help lessen the anxiety while in the chair. And here's a tip for remembering what the patient said. Put a sticky note in their file. Keep it simple, say, "Going on a cruise to Mexico in December." That patient will feel loved when you see her later and ask, "Hey, how was the cruise to Mexico?" Number 6, pass off patients with purpose. As all of you know, the dental staff plays a key role in building good relationships with patients. There are many occasions when staff members have time to talk with patients while waiting for the dentist to finish up another procedure or during patient prep. These times are wonderful opportunities to find out more about what is going on in the patient's life or to discuss dental issues. When the dentist enters the operatory, the staff member can share with the doctor what they have learned and say something like, "Dr. Smith, Patty just returned from a vacation in the Bahamas," or "She's really having some sensitivity when she drinks cold beverages." This gives the doctor a subject with which to connect to the patient. That's passing off the patient with purpose. Number 7, call patients by their name. A nice thing about dentistry is that you have the dental chart right there in front of you when the patient arrives, so it's easy to use the patient's name. "Good morning, Mrs. Patient. How are you?" "I'm Susie Smith. The doctor will be right with you." Nothing shows respect better than taking the time to call our patients by their name. After you introduce yourself, it's appropriate to ask older folks, "Mrs. Patient, how would you like me to call you?" I know it's just a little act of respect, but it will go a long way in making your patients feel more at ease and comfortable in the office. And don't forget to write his or her response in the patient chart. Number 8, listen actively. Active listening is really an art. In its simplest form, you hear what the patient is saying, repeat what you've heard, and check with the patient to make sure you are reflecting back correctly what they said. I had a great example of active listening recently at the emergency clinic. I dropped a brand new and very sharp pair of scissors on my ankle, and I had to go to the emergency clinic for stitches. Being a total wimp, I was afraid of the pain. The nurse said, "I see you cut yourself there." I told her yes, and I went on to explain what happened. I added at the end of the explanation that it happened several hours ago. She repeated back, "It happened several hours ago?" "Yes," I went on, "I didn't want to come in because I was afraid the stitches would hurt." She said, "You were afraid the stitches would hurt?" "Yes," I answered, "because I had stitches in my thumb last year, and when the doctor gave me a shot in my thumb before the procedure, it hurt like heck, only I used a cuss word." Voicing my real fear gave the nurse the opportunity to explain that the thumb has many more nerve endings than the side of my ankle, and that it probably would not hurt near as bad. And she added in a very comforting tone, "I'll be right here with you the whole time." She went on to explain that the nurse practitioner that would be stitching me up had over 40 years of experience in the emergency room. Her active listening skills gave me, the patient, a way to express my thoughts and fears. Just voicing my fear made much of the fear subside. Also, even though the nurse's aide was a third of my age, I was touched and comforted that she said she'd be there by my side. Patients want to be heard and understood. For a patient, especially the elderly, being carefully listened to can be a moving and profound experience. Being listened to carefully can transform the relationship between patient and doctor. I truly felt heard, and the experience was bonding. Active listening engages the speaker and the listener in true communication. One last point. Active listening is important in any relationship, but it's especially important when discussing treatment options or plans of care. And always make sure you make eye contact. One last tip. When you deal with the elderly, slow down and give them time to talk. Now that I'm a senior citizen, I really understand how important this is. It takes me longer to say what I'm thinking, and I really appreciate not being made to feel foolish for taking more time to get my thoughts together. Number 9, anticipate their needs. My dad was an electrician. He often called upon me to be his unwilling assistant. But working with him taught me how to anticipate his needs. He hammered that in on me. When I'm up on the ladder, a good assistant should anticipate what I'm going to need next. And that training has stuck with me. Anticipating your patient's needs is another way to show patients that you care. A cup of water, a clean bib, an adjustment of the chair, a warm towel, a magazine, any of these things provided at just the right time is proof positive that you're paying attention to the patient and want to provide the best care possible. Number 10, educate. An important part of your relationship with patients is education. Patients trust you and your staff to be their educators. They want to understand their treatment options and disease consequences. Let's face it, a confused patient isn't going to go through with treatment. If a patient doesn't understand what the problem is, or is getting mixed messages from you and your team, it's a good bet that patient doesn't want anything to do with the treatment you're recommending, and may even look to another practitioner to clear up the confusion. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's why I am a huge believer in the intraoral camera. My dentist uses it on me. Seeing my teeth and their condition makes it easy to understand why my dentist is recommending the treatment being presented. Whatever methods you choose to educate your patients, do what you can to clear up any confusion or doubts your patients are experiencing. Patients don't know dental jargon, and they don't want to learn. Be clear and be consistent. Even if they don't have questions as you're explaining the treatment, ask to be sure. Some patients may not be comfortable admitting they don't understand something. Let them know you and your team are there to help in any way you can. When educating, remember that people learn differently, and because people learn in different ways, it's important to offer a variety of learning materials. Be sensitive to visual or auditory limitations and to their language barriers. These are some ways to educate. Provide patients appropriate website links. Lots of patients, especially millennials, love to use the computer for research. Offer literature in the reception room and operatory. I'm a big fan of before and after shots of cosmetic dentistry. Pictures of beautiful after smiles make patients think of all the possibilities. Display professional posters to promote the procedures that are available in your practice. Tastefully framed posters are an inexpensive way to market your services. Provide in-office or take-home CD resources of procedures you offer. Use the intraoral camera and always allow the opportunity for questions. One last point on educating patients. The ability to understand and recognize different personalities can help with patient treatment acceptance and relationship issues with patients and coworkers. For example, I do everything fast. I'm extremely busy and I don't want to be overloaded with facts. I trust my dentist to know what she's going to do, or I wouldn't be in her chair. For me, it's just the facts. My thought process goes like this. You are the expert. What do you recommend for me, and why is that best? Show me on the intraoral camera. How much will it cost? When can you do it? How long will it take? Now, my sister Alice, that approach would never work with her. She moves slowly and deliberately, and she wants details. She wants to know all the options available, the pros and cons of each option, the cost of each option, why you would or would not recommend each option, etc., etc. Then she would have lots of questions and eventually make a decision. Obviously, these two examples of personality types are extremely simplistic, but you can see that you wouldn't be successful if you used the same approach on both patients. The internet has lots of wonderful articles on the subject. For further information, check out the CDA website. I recommend you read The 4 Human Personality Types in the Dental Practice by Michael Perry, DDS, CDA Director of Practice Management. And lastly, follow-up calls or surveys. Another way of building a relationship with patients is to provide a follow-up phone call after a visit. A follow-up call says, I know that our visit is over, but I want to be sure that you're okay. Patient satisfaction surveys are another way of saying, I want to do everything I can to be sure that your dental visit was pleasurable. You are that important to me. But let me warn you a little about this. You can't fake caring. You either do care and you do give a darn about your patients, or you don't. I'll never forget the experience I had with a dentist whose front office gal called me to ask how I was feeling after a lengthy root canal procedure. She was obviously trying to rush through her calls to get out of the office. When I answered the phone, she read off a script quickly. Hi, Paula, the doctor wanted me to call you and ask how you're feeling, and before I could answer that I was in a great deal of pain, and I wondered if that was normal, she spurted out, okay, that's great, call us if you need anything. Like I said, you either really do care or you don't. You can't fake caring. When someone really does care about you, it is so obvious and it really bonds you to the office. I have probably referred 300 people to my vet because of the tender and loving way her entire office supported me when my dog had to be put down. If you are rushed and can't make the follow-up call properly, don't make it. Things happen and sometimes you just don't have the time. If that's the case, take the phone numbers home and give the patients a call later in the evening when you have the time to do it right. Better yet, doctor, you make the post-op phone calls. This will mean more to your patients than you can ever imagine. Patients will tell everyone they know about how you called personally to see how they were doing. Like I said, you can't fake caring. Establishing a working relationship with your patient is essential. You might be the best dental office in town with the most educated and talented staff on earth, but unless you have a positive relationship with everyone you deal with, that is all for naught. We hope these ideas, tips, and strategies help you and your staff get more new patients and produce more dentistry from the patients you have. This is Paula Thomas for Thomas & Fees Accountancy Corp. saying, business is great, and we're looking for more.